We do have some members who disagree from time to time over the tactics that we decide to employ. But remember, Republicans are united in this idea that the president has far exceeded his constitutional authority.
Speaker John Boehner on Face the Nation yesterday defending his leadership methods in the midst of a growing rift among Republicans in the House. As we're back now on America's Forum, it is being reported that Speaker Boehner is prepared to cut a deal, passing a clean, long-term funding bill for the Department of Homeland Security. But should this happen, the firestorm that will erupt among the GOP's conservative wing has prompted talk of a possible Boehner coup. So for more on the story, we'll talk about this. Pair of old congressmen, yours truly, and my pal standing by in Washington, Michael Patrick Flanagan. So, Mike, we may come at this from different directions. You've given Boehner fairly high marks in the past. What do you think is going to happen? Will there be a coup?
I don't think there'll be a coup. If we pass a long-term CR for Homeland that does not address immigration, yeah, the groundwork for a coup will be there, and Boehner would be foolish to do that. But I don't think that that's what's coming. And I think Boehner would do well, if he would, to shape the argument coming in discussing the long-term plans of the Republicans for immigration reform. Rather than just saying we need immigration reform, everybody says that, it's become meaningless. But what would long-term what would it look like? Will we curtail immigration? Will we have a hiatus period? Who can come from where? What do we do with the folks here? How do we get most of them out and keep a few maybe that have been there their whole lives and have nowhere to go home? There is no other home for them but here. What would that shape look like? I think if the Republican conference would take more time to talk about that, discussing getting rid of Obama's fiat would be a lot easier for everybody.
Well, the situation, as you know, and one thing about serving in the House, you pay close attention to your constituents. And the people who were elected on a platform of, we are going to fight the president's unconstitutional amnesty. So you have that as the fight, but it seems, at least from my perspective, that Speaker Boehner and Leader McConnell in the Senate are conflicted. The suspicion is they may not like what the president did in terms of a usurpation of authority, but they're just cool with that amnesty because they view it as a political problem that goes away. Seems to me they're inflicting more damage upon themselves.
You might be right. I know Boehner has always been a big fan of immigration. He's softer on it than I am, way softer than you are on it. But I don't know that he's willing to cross the conference to this level and actually cut some deal with Pelosi and with Reid to get it moved up on and off. McConnell will do whatever the smoothest path is, the path of least resistance. It's the Republican conference that's actually in the way of just passing a clean CR. And nobody wants a clean CR. Obama has clearly overstepped his bounds. He has clearly, by presidential fiat, he has to be stopped for constitutional reasons. Whatever you think about immigration, you can't let a president usurp this much power and have it go unchallenged by the first branch of government, the Article I branch of government, Congress. Professor Dershowitz talked earlier about how we're co-equal branches and we're checking each other. Congress is the first branch of government. It's the people's body. It's where the people have reposited their power in their representatives. And absolutely, the president cannot usurp this power. And we have to find some way to push him back on this, whatever you think about immigration. And that's why we should be talking more about what we want to do rather than about how to stop him from having done it.
In terms of the practical schematic of how this thing is developed, Michael, and we have less than a minute here, governing's hard work. We saw that firsthand serving there on the Hill. But oftentimes we would be at odds with the Senate. It seems to me that Mitch McConnell could have kept the Senate in session and broken the Democrat filibuster. But always, it seems, the Senate takes the easiest route and ends up with more political egg on the face of the GOP. Final 20 seconds to you, sir.
Yeah, Tip O'Neill's famous quote, for your readers' edification, when asked about the evil Republicans he had to deal with, he said the Republicans aren't evil, they're the loyal opposition. The Senate is the enemy. And that's how it always has been. The Senate, you'd think being elected every 6 years they'd have a backbone, but they don't. It is always the path of least resistance electorally, and they can be counted on to do that. That's why the House has to hang tough.
Michael Patrick Flanagan, thanks for being with us the whole hour. Hour 2 of America's Forum follows this.